Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Let's get into this whole Gwen, Chad, Abigail, and Jack thing. Because here's the thing. When we last left off, Gwen was there using this really tragic thing that happened to her advantage to stick it to Abigail. Basically sitting there saying that, Abigail pushed me down the stairs, and that's how I lost my our baby. And now Abigail's like, no, that's not how that happened. She was like, listen, I grabbed your arm to stop you from talking to Chad, and you pulled away, and it was an accident. So they're going back and forth, back and forth. At this point, Chad's like, listen, maybe it's better if you're just not in the room at this point in time. You're not helping the situation, And at this point, Abigail has this look on her face like, what? Huh? Like, she doesn't understand that her presence, her being there, her arguing with somebody who just lost their child, like, her presence just, it's not helping. So she leaves, and Chad talks to her for a little bit. Now, here's the thing about this whole situation between Chad and Gwen. Chad doesn't seem like he is, really upset. He doesn't seem like he's, distraught or whatever, Because Gwen is like, you seem like you're kind of happy about losing the baby, this way you're not tied to me, this, that, and the third. And Chad's like, no, don't tell me how I feel. I was like, bro, you don't really seem like you're expressing much emotions at all. You're just kind of like, I'm like, here's the thing. Even if I'm with a woman that I don't like, I can't stand, if heaven forbid that happens, I'm going to be a giant puddle on the floor, I'm going to show some sign of emotion. This guy always just seemed like he was just very stoked the whole time, like, well, we didn't really plan this child, and it wasn't brought into this world under the best circumstances. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's your pep. I'm like, that's the best that you can come up with? So after a while, Jack walks into the room because Chad is not really, doing much of anything. Now, Abigail's outside, she's talking to Jack, and she's like, well, you know that I didn't push, I didn't push Abigail, right? I mean, I didn't push Gwen. Because she brings up the fact that, well, you believed Gwen when she said that she didn't push Grandma, so you're going to believe me too, right? You're going to believe that I didn't do it, right? And at this point, Jack is like, yeah, I'm going to go and check on my daughter. So Abigail just has this stupid look on her face. This is like the day for just really dingbat looks on her face. Don't get me wrong, Gwen is a POS for the fact that she's using her deceased child to get one over on Abigail because, I don't know, reasons, I guess. So she's just as much as a POS as Abigail. But before Abigail left, oh no, this is actually when Chad came out the room. Chad was sitting there talking to Abigail. And Abigail once again asked, hey, do you believe that I didn't push her down the stairs? And Chad's like, no, I believe you. I believe you didn't push her down the stairs. But let me ask you a question. Why was you arguing with a pregnant woman in the first place? Especially at the top of the stairs. She didn't have anything to say. She just stood there and looked like, I'm just like, are you having a dingbat moment? She didn't say anything, and Chad looked at her and just walked away. And I was like, here's the thing. I've been giving Chad hella grief since I started watching that show, pretty much, more or less. Calling him a dick, and just, well, that's pretty much about it. But I gotta give him props, because this is one of those situations where you ever just got so like beyond disappointed with somebody to the point where you couldn't even look them in the face. Like you just couldn't even look them in the face. Like I have nothing for you. You know, you just look at them with just, I don't know, like you're disgusted, but also just like, I can't even deal with you. I can't even look at you. That was the look that Chad had on his face. And when he walked away, Abigail just stood there and looked. Like, because here's the truth of the matter. Even if you did it by accident, the fact of the matter was, you didn't know that she wasn't pregnant anymore. Okay? You argued with a woman who was pregnant at the top of the stairs because, quote unquote, your husband, this, that, and the third. The only thing you thought about was you. You, your marriage, and anything else, including your niece or nephew, was just nothing more than an inconvenience. Okay? So, the fact that she fell down those stairs, regardless if you pushed her or not, still your fault. It's still your fault. Okay? And as far as everyone's that they're looking at it from the show point of view, yeah, you caused it. You caused you caused her child's death. Okay? Now obviously she didn't do that, and Gwen again is a POS for even using that death of her child to get one over on Abigail. But you know, Abigail was getting exactly what she deserved, and after the nasty, mean, and terrible things that she said, I do not feel sorry for her at all. How's my damn water at? Now, let's get into the whole Ava and Rafe thing. So, Rafe brings up the kiss. He's like, you know, we gotta sit there and talk about this kiss. Rafe is just really bad at talking about his feelings or just about the whole situation. I get it. It's an awkward conversation. But, I mean, Rafe has been with plenty of women before. I mean, this should not seem like it's that hard to talk about. Anyway, he stumbles through whatever it is, and Ava brings up the fact that, you know, Nicole, because threw her under the bus a little bit. Nicole was like, you know, I was taking advantage of you, and yada, yada, yada. And Rafe was like, listen, Nicole needs to mind her damn business, more or less, you know? Like, it is what it is. They don't agree, like, you know, we're going out or anything like that, but it's like, yo, listen, we're two grown adults. It is what it is. You're not taking advantage of me. He felt he was taking advantage of her. She said no. So it was like, all right, cool, let's, you know, let's do something. Before they got a chance to kiss again, he got called in by Trash, because Melinda, because, you know, fun times. So he was like, you know, we'll just do a date. You know, we'll go on an official date. Now Nicole, I don't know. Nicole, this woman is getting much more harder and harder to actually like by the minute. And the sad, I'm not going to really get into it, but the point is, I was going to say something that was just going to come across as, well, inappropriate. Point is, Nicole at first was talking to Brady about Kristen, because she's deflecting from what she really is thinking about, which is Rafe, and wanting to be with him, and yada yada yada. So he brings out Kristen to he brings up Kristen to Brady, and once again she starts chiming in like, oh well, you know, Kristen is a maniac and she's a homicidal killer and yada yada yada. And Brady, like the idiot that he is just like, well, you know, I love her, and just stop bad-mouthing her. So they drop the conversation. And of course, Chloe comes in and she's like, you know, listen, I gotta take some time off, a day off, so I can help a friend, because, you know, he's not doing so well. So, you know, he gives Brady a gift for Rachel. Brady leaves, and Chloe and Nicole start talking. They start talking, and pretty much Rafe is named into it, and Ava's named into it, and, you know, Nicole's all like, oh, well, I don't think they're a good idea because, you know, they're just so opposite. Just being like, not, I mean, what she said was judgmental, but all it was really just her deflecting about her own feelings. Now, Chloe was like, so do you have feelings for Rave? And Nicole acts really bitchy towards Chloe. And it's like, oh, well, I'm a married woman. And, Chloe was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sit there and bring that up. And, Nicole said something along the lines of, well, the fact to even sit there and even said that was, like, offensive or something like that. Some crap that she said. And I was just like, sweetheart, don't sit there and get all bitchy with her because you're too much of a damn coward to confess your feelings for Rafe and how you really don't want to be in this marriage with Eric anymore. And just accept the reality of what it is. I'm not going to lie. Greg leaving, which I understand why he left, was just so bad for how this storyline is going. I mean, what moron decides, hey, we've been married for about a week. I think you should go to Africa. Because this is what you want. And I'm going to support you. Your first week of marriage and you sent him halfway across the... None of that makes sense to me. None of it makes sense. Just to be honest, none of it makes sense. So, she's too much of a coward to sit there and admit how she feels, and she'd rather sit there and get an attitude with... I don't know if she's really friendly with a lot of people, but the one good friend that she has. I'm just sitting there thinking, you know what, Nicole? You being all jealous, you being all angry about Ava being with someone that you want to be with, and the way you're handling this, I don't feel bad for you at all. I'm actually kind of enjoying it, which is really petty on my part, but Nicole has been vexing me for quite a while, so, yeah, that's just how I feel. Now, Lucas is sitting there talking to Sammy, and Lucas is like, listen, because when Chloe came in, Chloe was like, listen, we got this appointment, it's going to be tomorrow, you're going to see the doctor and everything. And when Lucas is sitting there talking to Sammy, Lucas is like, yo, listen, this whole thing is going to blow up. And I don't care, because the minute that I go to the doctor tomorrow, they're not going to find anything, and this whole thing is going to just blow up in everyone's face. And the only thing that kind of concerned me was, here's the thing, if he goes to his doctor, and this doctor actually finds something, that's going to be bad. I mean, that's what I was kind of worried about. I was like, bro, what if you go to the doctor and, like, they actually find something? Meanwhile, Sammy told Kristen everything. Hey, listen, that whole Lucas trying to woo Chloe didn't go over so well, and he had to go to plan C, which was fake a brain tumor. So at this point, Kristen is upset. She's like, listen, if this thing does not go over well, I will sit there and tell EJ and your marriage will be over. And I'm just like, Kristen, listen, I think you make a great villain, but your whole motivations for why you're doing this is absolutely stupid. Like, the only reason why she's trying to hold on to Brady for dear life is because Brady's the only person that's stupid enough to actually go out with somebody who would stab their grandfather in the heart. Which, by the way, we haven't seen Victor in a while, so I guess the question circulating is this dude even still in the show? Like, did he, like, quit or something? Because usually you see him and you see Maggie, and granted, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I've seen, their whole thing has been, a lot of their scenes have just been kind of pointless, but it was always nice seeing them, and now that Victor's just, like, not around, I'm like, what is going on with him? Anyway, so Kristen's babbling, threats. The usual rinse and repeat crap. Brady comes in, and, Brady's like, hey, listen, I saw Chloe, she gave me this gift for Rachel, and Kristen's repeating everything that Brady was sitting there saying to, like, Sammy. And it was this really funny scene where she keeps repeating what Brady says, and Brady's like, yeah, okay, you're catching on quick. Do you need me to write this down for you? Because it was like, the way he said that line was just funny as hell. And that is one of the things I actually do like about the show a little bit. here's the thing. Back in the day when I first started watching like One Life to Live and stuff like that, General Hospital, I would sit there and try to look at some of these other shows, and I feel like they were just very old-fashioned. They didn't really know how to be like, I don't want to sit there and say up with the times, but like talk in a way where it seems not as dramatic like soap opera, but just kind of like how people are talking. B&B, there's a character named, well, I don't even remember her name. The woman who's going out with Flo, Steffi, the way she talks is like, this is pure cringeworthy 1980s soap opera talk. Like, no one talks like that, and I couldn't tell, was she just a really bad actress or just how this show goes. Anyway, point is, this scene is funny. I think Brady goes to check on Rachel, and once again, Kristen gives her usual threats of, if this plan doesn't go the way I want it to, I'm going to sit there and blow up your marriage because, you know, heaven forbid she's actually desperate enough to sit there and try to be with a man who is just going to look at every woman, you know, like, who just seems like the type of person that can wind up cheating on her, you know, but whatever. I just... At this point, I feel like I'm a broken record every time I keep talking about that. So, and I'm also trying not to be too negative, I guess. So, there is that. Yeah, that's about it, more or less. Kristen with the usual threats of yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But yeah, for the most part, that's actually about it. That's pretty much the only thing I could sit there and think of. But if I miss anything, please write it down in the comment section below. So with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'll catch you in the next video.